Hi everyone, it's Dr. Andrew Orr here. Look, today I'm coming on to talk about a subject that I talk to all my patients about, and it can be one of the number one causes of fatigue, restlessness, anxiety, depression, and a whole range of other health issues. And it can also exacerbate pain pathways, exacerbate health conditions, symptoms of gynecological issues, hormone issues, and a whole range of other symptoms, even right down to bone health, gut health, your immunity, and fertility. And the subject that we're actually going to talk about is sleep. Now, the one thing if someone said to me, what is the number one thing you could do to help a lot of people, I would say actually get their sleep in order. And the other thing would be hydrate them because a lot of people think they're hydrated and they aren't, which then can affect your sleep. But let's talk about sleep first up. And it's one thing I know a lot of people do not understand. They don't understand the consequences of not having proper sleep. And they don't understand that you should sleep right through and not wake up and be waking up several times a night. Regardless of whether you go back to sleep or not, you shouldn't be waking up or being restless. You should have a good 6 to 9 hours. Well, really, it should be about 7 to 9 hours good quality sleep. And some people might need a tiny bit more, but you definitely, it can actually lead to everything from cardiovascular disease right down to death. And when I say the whole death thing, I mean that we know there's an increase in road accidents and fatalities and stuff relating to sleep. And then we've got issues like sleep apnea, where people don't even realize that they're stopping breathing for 20 seconds or more, up to 20 times a night. It's unbelievable, and people are wondering why they're waking up tired. Or one of the other issues I see is that some people, oh, I can't lose weight and I can't do this, and I'm always tired all the time. What can I do to take something? I'm like, get sleep. It doesn't matter how many vitamins, pills, whatever you put in your body, unless you get good sleep, nothing's going to help. So the number one thing for a lot of conditions is sleep, and even right down to anxiety. As I tell people with high anxiety don't sleep, but also if they're not sleeping, they get high anxiety and depression and all that. So it's really, really, really important to understand about sleep. So I'm just going to run people through just a tiny little slideshow here about sleep and why sleep is so important. So we'll go to the first little bit here, and why quality sleep is so important, because people aren't getting it. So sleep is an essential function that allows your body and your mind to recharge, leaving you to wake up refreshed and alert and also go about your day and perform all your functions. Now, healthy sleep also helps the body remain healthy and prevent certain diseases, which I'll talk about in a second. And without enough sleep, the brain cannot function properly, and it can impair your ability to concentrate, think clearly, and process memory. So when people say I've got really poor memory, it can be part of not sleeping properly. Lack of sleep can also exacerbate pain pathways and other health conditions. And we'll look into that. Like even going through change of life for women, menopause, often those women have poor quality sleep, and we have to get the sleep in order to help with the menopausal symptoms. But also sleep is important for your immunity, but for bone health too. So sleep's very, very important. Now we have to understand what the sleep hormone is. So like most body processes, it's easy to understand why people are not sleeping. And then sleep things like sleep disturbances can become a habit too. And it's also about breaking those habits and then forming new habits. People would say, oh, I can't sleep no matter what I do. I'm sorry, but that's BS. It's actually bullshit. And you're actually reiterating to yourself that you can't sleep. There's always ways to get people to sleep. There is very, very rare that you can't help someone with sleep issues and they might need to have all their body clock reset and all that kind of stuff. But a lot of it is habitual, and the body does like habit. Just like at certain times of the day, people get up and move their bowels and all kinds of stuff. It's the same. People are habitual and the body is habitual. So we've got to look at what is the hormone that helps us sleep. Well, there's a couple of them actually, but the main one, melatonin, is the hormone released by your brain to make you either feel sleepy at night time or awake during the day. Now, the other bit is melatonin is also a precursor to serotonin, which I'll talk about in a second. So serotonin is very, very important for our moods. Now, when it's dark, melatonin is slowly released. So as the sun goes down, it's telling your body to go to sleep. Now, the problem with our modern lifestyle, we've got lights everywhere. Look, there's lights here and lights there, and oh my God, what's that? It's got a light on it too. So all these blue lights, white light, all of that is very stimulatory. And it's also telling us, oh, well, we should be awake. But really, the sun's gone down. So in true essence, as the sun goes down, we should be getting ready for bed, just like the animals do, or the birds do, really. But being around too much bright light before bed can affect the levels of melatonin that it's released. It's also why it can be hard for some nighttime shift workers to sleep during the day, because it throws out their circadian rhythm, throws out their sleep, the whole lot. There's a lot of people aren't getting into proper deep sleep either. They might be closing their eyes and thinking they're asleep, but getting into good quality deep sleep is a whole nother thing, where a lot of people are just light sleepers and one noise and they're up. And that means they're not getting into deep sleep, and that is a recipe for disaster over a long period of time. So melatonin levels stay elevated for most of the night while you're in the dark. So this is why it's important to have a dark room. I tell people, get blackout curtains, black the room out, and put this rotten thing away as far away from you, or turn it downwards, face down, so the blue light there. Now, if you need it for an alarm, get yourself another alarm clock. You can buy alarm clocks that you can turn the light off it, but it will still wake you up. Or face it down, and there's ways to do it, people, or it's just elevated, slightly, so you can actually hear the alarm go off. But you don't want to see the light. Or during the night, turn off your notifications, like say you haven't got flash, 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 flash all night. So as I said, melatonin levels stay elevated for most of the night while you're in the dark. Then they drop in the early morning as the sun rises, causing you to wake up. If you're looking for a better night's sleep, sticking to a consistent sleep and wake and meal schedule will help with generating melatonin. So that's why it's very, very important to have those schedules when you consistently wake up and eat. Melatonin also helps produce serotonin for moods and stabilizing healthy thoughts. So now, as I said, melatonin is a very important precursor to serotonin. So serotonin is the key hormone that stabilizes our mood, feelings of well-being, and happiness. So when we don't have enough of us, we'll feel depressed, we can feel anxious, and a whole other range of mood disorders. And this is what happens. So we see this a lot, even with premenstrual dysphoric disorder, is that people aren't great sleepers, and this is what's interfering with their hormones. So people with PMDD, if you can get their sleep good, it will actually help with their PMDD symptoms. And we also know with depression, we give serotonin reuptake inhibitors, SSRIs. So we're putting serotonin back into the body. But there are also natural supplements and herbal medicines that can help or assist with serotonin in the body as well. We know that there's things like ziphysis, and there's passion flower and all kinds of things that may assist with reducing stress, serotonin levels. St. John's wort is another one. Now, The other thing is that this hormone impacts your entire body. So it's not just about stabilizing your moods. It enables brain cells and other nervous system cells to communicate with each other. And serotonin also helps with sleeping, eating, and digestion. Yes, serotonin actually helps with digestion. It helps with bowel function as well. So this is another thing that people need to be aware of, that now we talk about good gut health or the microbiota, and putting good healthy bacteria in also can help with sleep and moods. We now know the link between the gut and the brain, that gut-brain axis. And there's a lot of research on this at this present time about microbiome and putting good bacteria in. And it also helps with inflammation. Like I said, helps with mood. So, and also helps with boosting serotonin production. Oh, wow. Oh, who would have thought? So that's why I'm always talking about healthy gut function, but strain-specific bacteria. The problem is a lot of people don't do pre and probiotics properly. A lot of practitioners don't even know how to do it properly. So how can the general public know? But bacteria, you need strain-specific bacteria, and there's a lot of research out there on Plantarum 299V, Boulardi strain, all kinds of different things, NCFM, LGG, and what they do in the body. But we know that 299V's had a lot of research on it, especially with the microbiota, moods and stuff like that. So that's a whole other story unto itself. But it's part of the things that I talk about with my patients. Now, serotonin is responsible for stimulating parts of the brain that control sleep and waking too. So just like melatonin. So like I said, melatonin is a precursor to serotonin. And they vice versa. When there's not enough serotonin, it affects melatonin. And if there's not enough melatonin, it affects serotonin. So it's the hormone pathway. However, if the brain has too little serotonin, it may lead to depression and anxiety. So that's, like I said before, antidepressants, give them SSRIs, serotonin reuptake inhibitors. But we put serotonin in, or there's ways to produce serotonin in the body without medications. We get serotonin from foods as well. So if the brain has too much serotonin, it can lead to excess nerve activity. So it becomes hyperstimulated. Woo-hoo, off it goes. And also helps reduce depression, regulate anxiety, and maintains bone health. Oh, dearie me. So we see a lot of that. Serotonin is very important for bone health, and we see a deterioration in not only bone health, but also serotonin levels when women go through menopause. We'll talk about that as well, because once a woman reaches 25, she actually starts dumping calcium from 25 years old. Once you reach 35, she starts to dump it a little bit faster. And then once she reaches 40, she starts to dump it a little bit faster. And once she goes into menopause, she dumps it quite quickly. So this is why women are more at risk of osteoporosis. Very, very important, calcium and vitamin D, but also serotonin and estrogen. Now, when we talk about low quality sleep, so low quality sleep may involve waking up during the night, urination at night, breathing difficulties such as sleep apnea, an environment that's too hot, cold, or noisy, an uncomfortable bed. A lot of people have really crappy beds, and that can be a big part of their sleep issues. Really, most beds you'll get maybe 8 to 10 years out of them. So it's something that people need to look at. An unmanaged pain condition. A lot of people are sitting home with unmanaged gynecological issues, pain issues, endometriosis that isn't managed properly, PCOS, adenomyosis, you name it. A lot of women's health issues, and actually male issues, prostate issues, the whole lot. Even if you wake up 1 to 2 times during the night, it is still broken sleep. You go, oh, I only wake up 1 or twice a night. It's broken sleep. You wake up once a night, it's broken sleep. Regardless of whether you go back to sleep or not, it's broken sleep. You're not getting that consistent deep sleep. It's a break in your sleep pattern. So you shouldn't get up at night. So waking up constantly, or that restlessness created, which creates poor quality sleep and can exacerbate health conditions and increased pain pathways and other symptoms. So you shouldn't be waking. And I know a lot of people are tossing and turning all night that never actually get into poor quality sleep, or they're chewing all night and they wake up and they've got a sore jaw because they're clenching their teeth all night, which is a whole other issue unto itself as well. There's also symptoms of poor quality sleep, so fatigue and tiredness throughout the day, or being constantly fatigued. It could even lead to chronic fatigue and adrenal fatigue. Irritability and agitation, where you're just, always irritable because you're not, I mean, look at sleep deprived parents. Snap. Mood changes. We see this, I talked about it before, it changes the mood. Difficulty focusing and remembering it, poor concentration, a reduced sex drive. Now, this is something that doesn't get talked about, and I'm really, really serious about it, because libido is an important part of health. And it's also reduced libido also means poor health, either physically or mentally. And this is what when people come and say, look, how am I going to fix my libido issues? Well, one, are you sleeping enough? Oh yeah, I wake up a couple of times. Yes, that will affect your libido. The other bit, stress, diet, lifestyle, medications, and all kinds of other things. But a lot comes up from here, and not enough sleep. I can tell you that now. Reduced sex drive for a lot of people. Increased pain pathways. People that come in to see me or other healthcare practitioners, and their pain levels. How's your sleep? Oh, well, I've never been able to sleep. I've just been like that since I'm rubbish. The problem is it creates this vicious cycle, and we have to get your sleep under wrap. Sure, we have to control pain levels too. There's no doubt about that. You can't expect someone to sleep at night when they're in pain. And this is why pain management, just like sleep management, is so important. And the problem with most people is they think they can control it themselves, and they can't. And a lot of people don't know how to manage pain properly either, and consistently. Rather than just taking a pill when they're in pain, it should be managed before they get to that point, and they're not doing it. It's the same with sleep. It should be managed to a point long before there's an issue and it becomes a habit and stuff like that. Increase in anxiety and depressive symptoms. Well, we know that when people are anxious, they don't sleep, and when they don't sleep, they become anxious or depressed. And this is the issue. It's, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? It doesn't matter. A lot of the time you fix their sleep and it helps their anxiety. But sometimes you have to fix their anxiety to help their sleep, and, go through mindfulness techniques, things like that. Other symptoms of poor quality sleep are decreased immunity. It'll affect your immune system like no tomorrow. You're not sleeping, it'll affect your immunity. Increase in weight and storage of fat. A lot of people ask me, well, why? I know I'm doing this, and that. Are you sleeping? No. Well, that will cause weight to increase. But why? Because it affects your metabolism. That's why. And we talked about it affects your serotonin levels, it affects your melatonin levels, and affects other parts of your body. Affects your gut function, all kinds of stuff. So imbalance of hormones too. The one thing we know, the melatonin, serotonin, they're all hormones. The effect that sleep has on the body is very significant. It affects everything, pituitary function, the whole lot. You have a think when you're not getting sleep, how you feel. You feel nauseous, you just feel tired, you just want to go to bed, you don't want to eat, you don't want to do anything, your output, input, it's all shot to pieces. The other thing is there's an increase in cardiovascular events. So we see a lot more cardiovascular events for those that are poor quality sleep. Decreased fertility. It's one of the hugest things that I see. One really major thing I see with hormones, women's health issues, and fertility for males and females. So this is overall. It's not blanket just women's health stuff. This is males and females. So we know that shift workers have lower fertility rates, plus those that are highly stressed too in those highly stressed jobs. But those that aren't sleeping or have undiagnosed or unmanaged gynecological issues and pain issues, but also undiagnosed and unmanaged anxiety, depression, and other things, which will have the whole thing. It's all about sleep. Fix the sleep and you fix a lot of things, I can tell you that. So there's an increase in other health condition symptoms. Sure, it's going to, when you're tired, it's going to exacerbate. If you've got an underlying condition, it's going to make it worse. And it also affects that gut and digestive function. Just remember, like I said, you don't get enough sleep. You feel nausea, you feel tired. The gut doesn't want to work. What are the long-term effects of poor sleep? Well, hypertension, increased blood pressure, diabetes, insulin resistance, sleep apnea, obesity, as we talked about, heart attack and cardiovascular events, stroke, increased risk of depression, anxiety, psychosis, infertility, hormonal issues, chronic fatigue, adrenal fatigue, increased pain pathways, increased risk of long-term health conditions, increased risk of accidents because people try and drive when they're tired, and or operate machinery or at work and then do silly things, and next minute they're dead. So it can cause death, and it can also lead to premature aging, which then leads to premature death as well. So it can kill you, lack of sleep. So treatments for poor quality sleep. Well, there's many ways to support quality sleep, including counselling. Like I say to people, counselling is really, really important, because a lot of people, unless you can teach them to shut off their mind, have coping skills, coping mechanisms, deal with their depression, anxiety, trauma, pain, the whole lot, they aren't going to sleep. And this is really, really important. So teach them counselling, mindfulness, meditation, lifestyle environment. If you're eating a crappy, shitty diet full of highly refined foods and sugars and additives, that can keep you asleep, awake, and not sleeping very well. Lack of exercise. We know that when you exercise, it's easier to have better sleep. Breathing exercises, teaching people to breathe and relax. Certain medications can affect with sleep as well, but also there are medications to help with sleep. So, and there are also complementary holistic therapies. And if you want to explore those, you should talk to a qualified, yes, a qualified healthcare professional, not Dr. Google and not some website or whatever. See a qualified professional, because some of these complementary medicines could actually make you ill or make you worse if you try and self-diagnose and self-prescribe. Don't do it. Yeah, things can kill you. Sometimes a person can also need treatment for an underlying health condition. So it's really important to identify what underlying health conditions could be causing poor quality sleep too. So treatments for poor quality sleep, well, changing things that people can do is changing sleeping habits, and the sleeping environment can often help. Like I said, blackout curtains, make the room a little bit cooler. Try and go to bed and wake up at the same times, create that pattern. So the pattern that you got into of staying up late and staying up and not sleeping, you can create those patterns as well of learning how to sleep. Establish a routine, very, very important. Avoid eating 2 to 3 hours before bed, because if you have too much or sweets or that could stimulate you, same with alcohol and things like that. Interestingly enough, if you're going to bed and you're hungry and your stomach's in there going all night, that's not good either. So it's all about making sure that you're adequately full. That's, 4 hours or so before you go to bed. Please don't go to bed hungry. That could keep you up all night. So it'd be better to have something very light and small and then be able to sleep and be satisfied than sit there with a gurgly stomach going, oh my God, I can't wait till I wake up so I can eat something. It's all about common sense, people. Now, after trying to fall asleep for 20 minutes, if you can't, try some reading, try some meditation, get an app. We'll talk about the apps in a minute. and then try and sleep again later. A lot of people, by just reading, they'll be able to go to sleep. Don't get on this. This is not, I'm talking about reading a book, not on this blue light that's stimulating you to stay awake again. And don't have a TV in the bedroom. Worst thing you can do. That's one of the no-nos for good sleep either. The other thing is don't get up, because as soon as you get up, the body thinks it's time to get up and it creates a pattern. So stay in bed. Don't get up. Relax the body, mind, mindfulness. The other part, as I talked about, is get regular exercise during the day. Keep the bedroom quiet, dark, and cool. I mean, it's really hard to sleep in a room that's hot. There's light coming over through and it's noisy. The TV's blaring, blah, blah, blah. Turn off electric devices and keep them away from the sleeping area. That's why I said you should not have your phone right near you or go to bed and get on your phone. No. No phones at least 1 to 2 hours before bed. Don't have your normal phone in your room, if anyone has one of those, the landlines anymore. Like I said, get yourself a good old-fashioned alarm clock, or put these face down so the blue light's not flashing up. Limit the consumption of caffeine and alcohol, because alcohol and caffeine can be stimulatory. Avoid tobacco, obviously, it's a stimulant. Practice meditation and mindfulness before bed and use some apps. So one of the best apps I've seen is called Insight Timer. There is the Calm app, but it does cost you, and there is a subscription. There's Headspace app. But I find the Insight Timer is really good. There's got sections in there for anxiety. It's got things for sleep. It's actually got a whole training to get you to sleep. There's meditation, music, the whole lot. You should be able to self-soothe and be able to do it yourself. But if you can't, then use some of that. But I recommend Insight Timer. Headspace is pretty good too. But Insight Timer is one of the ones I would recommend. So what else can you do? Well, like any other healthcare condition, nobody can do this on their own. If you've got a problem, it means that you need to go and see someone. If you don't change something, nothing changes. But go and see a healthcare professional that can help you with sleep, help you with supplements and medication for sleep if needed, or sometimes you might need to be referred on to a sleep clinic, but you need someone with the skills and the training that can help you with sleep. And yes, there are medicines and supplements that can help with sleep, but you need to talk to a healthcare practitioner that's qualified and knows about sleep, and it's a healthcare professional that's had years of training in this, and can help you the best and individualize your sleep plan and your sleep management and what is going to help you. Because what may help one may not help the other. So it's all about looking at the individual rather than this blanket approach. Oh, here, just take a sleeping tablet. Well, sometimes you might need to take a sleeping tablet, but you have to be aware that some of those sleeping tablets are highly addictive. They can cause suicidal episodes, depression and stuff if they're used long term. But sometimes they have to be used short term, but they need to be monitored by a healthcare professional, because they can be dangerous again, and they can cause all sorts of side effects. So you want to know more about how you can sleep. So you having sleep issues, and you want to know more about how you can help with your sleep issues, then I suggest that you book in a half-hour consultation with me to find out how I can help you sleep better. It will require you to fill out some paperwork and questionnaires. And I'm doing this as a special one-off kind of thing for people. So it's a half-hour consult. It's just on sleep only, no other health conditions. If you have another health condition that's identified in that time and I go, look, hey, you've got this, you may need an extended consultation and another consultation to go over that, in which my normal consultations are about an hour and a half, where I go over everything. And with this sleep consultation. Again, it's half hour. There'll be some recommendation around supplements and medicines to assist you with better sleep, and there'll be anything to do with recommendations during that consultation. Now, how to contact me? Well, the best thing to do is call my friendly staff, call the 0738328369 or email info@drandreworr.com.au. You can also fill out the online inquiry form on my website, www.drandreworr.com.au. There's Facebook, there's Instagram, there's YouTube, but I don't monitor the Facebook thing. So the best way to contact me is email or phone. I don't answer the messages on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, because I have my staff manage my bookings. I don't do it myself like some practitioners do. It's my staff that will organise all your appointments for you. So please call the numbers or use the info or use the website inquiry line. All right, people, I hope this has helped you understand a little bit more about sleep. It's very important, as I said to people. Sleep can cause a whole range of issues. And if this is you, then you need to do something about it. Like I said, if you don't change anything, nothing changes. A lot of people go, oh yeah, but I've done this, done that, nothing works. That you just may have seen the wrong people. And most of the time, what I see is that people are trying to manage it themselves and they're doing a really poor job of it. And you can't manage it yourself. You just can't. And it might require specialist treatment. You might need to go to a sleep clinic and reset your whole sleep patterns. And there might be other issues. You never know. People might end up having to see a neurologist. It could be a whole range of issues. There could be, God knows. So how long's a piece of string, as I say to people? What you may think is causing your issues, a lot of the time may not be. So this is why healthcare professional and seeing a healthcare professional is very, 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 very important. All right, people, good luck, have good sleep. And if you can't sleep, well, you know where to find me. Please book in and find out how I might be able to assist you in sleeping a lot better. Take care.